Hello, welcome to this session on soft skills. And I'm Dr. Bhargavi, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Management Studies in Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. So, we've seen the concept of soft skills in the earlier sessions. So, we saw about the syllabus, we saw about what are soft skills, we saw about what are the differences between hard skills and soft skills. Then we saw about how soft skills are going to differ in the abilities possessed by individuals from hard skills, and what are the top 10 soft skills required in today's industry, the components of soft skills, classification of soft skills, the training components of soft skills given to individuals, how can soft skills be acquired, and we also saw about who am I? What about yourself? So you are going to analyze yourself and you are going to realize who you are. The potential inside you is going to be analyzed by you. So we saw all these concepts in the earlier class. We also saw about attributes, about how attributes are going to create impressions, the first impressions in the minds of individuals. So we saw about the effect which one can create in 40 seconds in the minds of others, and the best ways to create impressions were seen in the earlier classes. So in this class we'll be seeing about, in this session we'll be seeing about the correlation between self-image and first impression. So if you see, first impression is going to be a function of self-image. Self-image is what you are going to perceive yourself as. So I deem myself to be very high. I deem myself to be a very self-esteemed person. I deem myself to be equal with others. So the way I'm going to see myself is called as self-image, and this is going to largely influence how others are going to see you, because being well dressed or well mannered or well groomed is not going to have any effect unless and until you have a good image about yourself. So a positive self image is going to put you, a step ahead compared to others. So only when you are able to treat yourself better, and only when you are able to see yourself in a better position, that's where you are going to outlay others in a comparative advantage. So self-image is going to be about how you are going to view yourself, your worth and your abilities. So it is all about forming a good image in your own mind. So that is the very first step. And if you see, the enthusiasm, the energy that is spread by an individual is going to create the very first impression on others. So self-image and first impression are very closely related. Self-image is about how you are going to view yourself, your worth, your abilities, and it is a value which you place on yourself and how you feel about your life, the way you are living your life. So self-image is influenced by self-esteem and your own image about yourself, your body languages. So self-image is going to be very strong, that you can spend your entire life validating your image. So self-image, self-esteem and first impression are very closely related. So it is a combination of many factors, like how others behave with you, or how they have behaved with you in the earlier experiences, how they treat you, how you have felt when others have treated you. All these are going to constitute of self-image, first impression and self-esteem. Coming to the next slide, if you see the factors that affect one's self-image, we have different factors, colleagues and peers, mentors and coaches, parents, teachers and friends, movies, magazines, success and failures, social media and television. So all of these are factors that are going to influence the self-image of an individual. So how are these going to influence, create an impact in the minds of individuals in creating their own image? If you analyze, see, colleagues and peers, when an individual goes and when he is going to get employed in a workplace, then colleagues, the friends with whom he is going to make a relationship, or the friends with whom he is going to spend his working hours, the superiors with whom he is going to report and work underneath, all of them are going to create an impact about himself in his own mind. So for example, now I am doing a very good job at my workplace, and my boss comes and tell me, hey, you have done a very great job, that is amazing, you have handled the clients so well, and you have got a good name in the client's mind. Now if I get a form of applaud like this, when I get a compliment like this from my superior, then I'll feel so motivated, I'll be so energetic in performing the future task, and the image of myself in my own mind will go high. So I will see myself to be a very good, smart working person, a person who is able to complete tasks on time. People management is very high in me, so I regard myself to be very high. So compliments from colleagues, or any reactions from colleagues and superiors can create impressions in my own mind about myself. Then parents, teachers and friends. If you see, a child, once it starts growing, once it is able to analyze the environment in which it grows, once it is able to understand its surroundings, then it will start observing the surroundings and it will start judging the surroundings. So what will happen is, when the child starts growing, it forms an image of its surroundings and it learns to respond. So once it learns to respond to the surroundings, then it will obviously face lessons where it has succeeded, or lessons where it has faced some troubles. So this will make a child to analyze what it is doing is correct or not. So parents, if you see, parents, they will teach the child what to do and what not to do. They will say the child that what you're doing is right, what you're doing is it can be done better, or they'll teach the values, they'll teach the culture, they'll teach the morals. So the parents are going to be the supporting pillars for children to develop everything, to develop ethics, to develop their own self-image, to develop communication. So everything can be influenced by parents in the shaping of their own children. So self-image is created since childhood inside an individual. So he starts knowing about himself more when he is exposed to different kinds of experiences right from his childhood. Then teachers and friends. Yes, once the child is going to start growing, then he goes to school, he goes to a good place to learn, and he starts getting friends, he starts getting teachers who teach him good and bad. So teachers and friends will have a good role in shaping the self-image of an individual. Now coming to mentors and coaches, if you see, mentors are those people who are going to guide us, they're going to support us and motivate us and guide us in doing things. So mentors and coaches will also have a role in shaping the self-image of an individual. Coming to movies, magazines, what are the impact of movies? How do the representations shown in movies are going to shape an individual's perception? If you see, movies have a very strong visual impact. Movies have the power to influence people because the cues, your vision is influenced by what is shown in front of you. So when you are able to visualize, when you're able to see and comprehend with the things that you see, then you are able to analyze and realize what is being shown. So that will create an impact in your mind. Earlier days, if you see, Indian movies showcased a very small side of females going to work, or females in the workplace, how they progress. These all were shown in a very limited manner. But as days pass by, in the last 1 decade, if you see, a lot of movies have come on how females are able to succeed in the workplace, how they are able to work equally, and how they are getting opportunities to pursue their higher studies and progress in life. So this has also created an impact in the society, and the society is able to follow what the movies have shown them visually. So when this is a visual impact that has been created by movies, then I think self image, the image which one can have about himself, can also be boosted via the movies and magazines that one reads and sees. Now, coming to success and failures, how are success and failures going to influence a person? If you see, success are those events which have a very positive impact on the individual. So the individual will be happy, he'll be motivated, he'll be delighted. So he'll be in cloud nine. So if I'm going to face success, then I'm going to be the happiest person. So that will influence the image which I have about myself. So if I'm facing success continuously for a long period of time, then I'll feel that whatever I am doing is correct. Whatever the efforts I take will yield me to success. Whatever the best step I'm going to put in forward is going to lead me to success. So I'll start gaining self confidence inside me that whichever things I'm going to take and I'm going to implement is going to yield me success. So that is going to build my self image about myself. Whereas if you see failures are the consequences of wrong decisions or wrong efforts, or you can say that something when it is about to go right but still it has gone wrong, then you are going to face a failure. So failures are consequences of your actions. So if you see, once I am able to correct my mistakes, and once I'm able to make myself a better person after correcting my mistakes, then I'll start getting success in my path. So what will happen is, just like how success teaches a man about his own self, failures make a man realize his mistakes. So he will correct what has to be done, and he will start developing an image about himself when he faces a failure. So success and failure moments will shape a person's self image. Now, the last point is about social media and television. How many of us spend at least an hour in Facebook or Twitter or Instagram these days? Many of us do, yes, don't we? So, if you see, the power of social media is enormous today. There is a saying, your net worth is determined by your network. So, the contacts that you have is going to determine how successful you are in today's networked world. So, the web of contacts which you have is going to make you succeed or fail in the workplace. So social media, the power of social media, for example, let us say that I am going to share a very useful information in my Facebook page. Now this information, this post is seen by many people, and they too find it very useful, and they start sharing it, which I have shared in my page. Now let us say that this shares have reached 100, 200. Now this, what will happen is, I will start feeling good when the number of shares are increasing. So if 200 friends or 300 friends have shared the same information which I have posted in my wall, then I'll start getting a sense of gratification inside me that okay, this is something that has been very useful to so many people and they've started sharing it. So I will start getting a sense of contentment inside me, and that will build my own image about myself. What I'm doing is right. So what I'm doing is helpful to so many people. What I'm doing is, it has been shared by so many people. So social media can influence a person's self-image. So those factors which we see here, whether it's going to be the parents, teachers, friends, colleagues, peers, mentors, coaches, movies, magazines, success, failure, social media, television, all these are the factors that is going to influence the self-image of an individual. So, self image is going to be the way we are going to see ourselves, and self esteem is going to be the way you feel about yourself, and self confidence is going to be the belief which you have on yourself about your capabilities or your potential, your strengths. So, all these are going to constitute self confidence. Coming to the next slide, we have this Zozo. You have seen this Vodafone advertisements which portray Zozos in their advertisements. So you have a Zozo here, a cute little Zozo, and we are seeing a ladder of steps that is depicted here. What is shown in this graffiti? What do you think this image is depicting or talking about? Do you have any idea? Think. What does this infer? What does this image talk about? So if you see, the Zozo is first very sad. In the very first step in the ladder down, the very first step of the ladder, he is very sad. Why is he sad? Now he has been, let us assume that he has been given a task to climb the entire ladder. Now he is very sad in the very first step because he thinks he won't do it. He won't be able to climb the entire steps and reach the top. So he's very sad. He is keeping hands in his chin and he's very worried about what to do. Now, if you see in the second step or in the staircase, the second phase is where he's thinking what to do. He's going to start analyzing, he's going to start questioning whether he can do it, whether I'll be able to do it, whether I can do it or no, I'll not be able to do it. So he starts thinking and he comes to an assumption that no, I can't do it. The third phase is where, he gets up, he stands and he keeps his arms, his hands in his hips, and he starts staring at the top. He says, I want to do it, I want to do this. So see the transition in the way of thoughts. First he thinks that he won't do it, then he thinks that he can't do it, and then he comes to one particular stage where he wants to do it. So he is going to think, he's going to question, he's going to reasonate on the measures to climb the top. So he wants to do it now. Coming to the fourth stage, he is analyzing what are the ways of doing it. So how am I going to do it? How am I going to climb the top? I have a small belly. I have thin legs. I have long arms. Now, how will I climb the staircase when I have these many features inside me? So he starts analyzing. He starts thinking how he is going to do it. So he finds out ways of performing a task. Then in the next stage, in the fifth stage, he says, I will try to do this, which means he has analyzed all the alternatives available in front of him and he's come to a conclusion that he can opt any one of these alternatives, whether he can hop and jump, or he can climb one staircase at a time, or he can climb 2 to 3 steps together at a time. So he has analyzed different ways to reach the top and he tries to implement one of these measures in reaching the top. Now, if you see, the sixth step is where he can do it, which means he says that yes, I can do it. Once I have find out the measures to make this happen, then I can do it. So there is his level of motivation. There you can see, this Zozo, he is all smiling because he has found out the way to make it happen. So he's all happy. So he says, I will do it. Now, in the last phase, he starts climbing the stairs and he reaches the top and he says, yes, I have did it. So he is able to complete the task and he is able to reach the top by thinking, by analyzing what to do, and by putting his best step forward. So that is the power of self-image and confidence. So if you have confidence in you that you will be able to perform something which is given to you, then you will find ways to make it happen and you will do it. So that is the power of self-confidence. So you all have to have this power of self-confidence inside you to accomplish things in life and come out with flying colors. So that is the that is the inference of this slide which is given here. Coming to the next slide, can you read this? What is there? What is written in the slide? The slide says, if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. So the concept of self-confidence which we saw is all about your beliefs, your intuition, your instincts about yourself. So if you believe that you are capable, then you will be able to make it happen. Just like how we saw on the earlier slide about Zozo's, he being very optimistic and very motivated to perform the task. Similarly, if you are motivated, if you are dedicated, if you are committed to the work you do, if you believe in your capabilities, anything in this world is possible for you. So coming to the next slide, we have the importance of self-esteem and confidence. Why is self-esteem and self-confidence important in today's scenario? See, when you start accepting yourself, when you start analyzing yourself, we saw about SWOT analysis, we saw about what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. So when you start analyzing your strengths, when you start identifying your areas which you have to improve in weaknesses, then you will be able to start accepting yourself. So when you start accepting yourself, you'll be able to live without any guilt, without any fear inside your heart. So you will know that these are the areas where I shine and these are the areas which I have to improve. These are my weaknesses which I have to reduce. So you will know more about yourself. You will come to a stage of self-realization and you will start acknowledging yourself. So that will make you to live in peace. So you will have an inner peace at your heart and you will start observing things which can make you feel better. So you have to respect yourself and acknowledge yourself to live freely. Now, when you treat yourself in the same way, like how others treat you, you will be able to feel even more better. So when you are able to make choices about how to lead your own life, then you can realize the potential inside you and all the abilities inside you, and you will find harmony in the surroundings which you operate, and this will boost your self-esteem and self-confidence. So the next slide talks about what are the ways to build self-esteem and self-confidence. So the first step to build self-esteem is acknowledge your insecurities. So what do you have to do? What do you mean by insecurities? It can be called as weaknesses. So acknowledge your insecurities, which means that whatever is making you feel so low, whatever is making you feel depressed or inferior, acknowledge it, give it importance and analyze what can be done to make it right. So write down the situations in a sheet of paper. See, I may get irate when a lot of people talk to me simultaneously, and when I'm unable to understand whatever they say. jointly in a chorus voice. Now this may make me annoyed. No, so I have to analyze the situations which are going to test my temper, and I have to write down these situations in a sheet of paper, and I have to devise strategies on how to overcome these kind of situations. So that is meant by acknowledging your insecurities. So you have to write down and analyze how to overcome your difficult situations and how to overcome your weaknesses inside you. So everyone is good at something or the other. We have some unique capabilities inside us. So we have to focus on developing our strengths inside us, and that will be our uniqueness, that will make us stand out, that will be the peculiar trait which we have. So acknowledge your insecurities. That is the very first step to build self confidence and self esteem. The second step we see here is don't permit depression. So see, no one can make you feel very bad without your permission. So if you don't let the negative thoughts enter your mind, then that is the best ever thing which you have done. So start regarding yourself to be positive, start regarding yourself to be optimistic, and don't give space for negative thoughts. Don't get depressed for things that are not of value. So you have to not allow depression to take a space inside your head. Then the third point is talk it out, which means you have friends, you have family, you have colleagues, you have beautiful people surrounding you. Now, these people are those who care about you. So, choose those persons whom you feel are genuinely caring for you, and talk your thoughts, share your thoughts, feel and share it with them. So whatever you opine, or whatever you think, whatever you feel like expressing, share it with them, so that the burden in your heart goes down and you'll be able to feel better and lighter at heart. So talk it out, talk it to your family members, talk it to your friends, anyone whom you trust. Talk and share so that you will feel better. Now, learn from your mistakes is the next step, which means, see, no one is perfect. Each one of us have some flaws inside us, and there is a proverb to error is human and to forgive is God. So, humans are they are prone to make errors. So none of us are going to be perfect in our life, will not be without making any mistakes in our life. So everyone has started out somewhere, and we have made mistakes throughout our way of life. So if you fail, make sure you are going to get up from the failure. You are going to bounce back and be resilient. So that will make you successful. So you have to learn from what mistake you did, and you have to correct those mistakes and then accomplish success in your life. Gratitude is the next step. I love talking about this point. There have been many people I've seen who are grateful to what they have. So acknowledge what you have first. That is the very basic step for gaining happiness inside you. So if you want to be at inner peace, then first be grateful to what you have. There was a survey conducted by many researchers all over the globe, and they found that if you have three things, the first thing, a roof above your head, and if you have an opportunity to have food three times a day, and if you have good relationships, if you have people to care for you, and if you have enough clothing to wear and hang out, then you are rich more than 50% of the global population. So that is one great finding, I would say. Gratitude is where you are going to be thankful for what you have. So focusing on what you don't have is going to lead to insecurities. It is going to make you feel worried. So when you lose your self confidence, it is going to destroy your own peace. So by appreciating what you have, you can fight for what you want, and you can, devise strategies to accomplish that which you don't have. So achieving that inner peace is going to work wonders for you to create your confidence and accomplish things. So gratitude is a very, very important thing in today's world, so that we all can have peace at heart and function effectively with the tasks that we are assigned. The next point is avoid self pity. What do you mean by self pity? You are going to think low about yourself, you are going to feel inferior, and you are going to feel sad for yourself. Avoid that, don't do that. See, don't let anyone get pity or become sad for you or show sympathy for you. Shallow words may make you feel good temporarily, but they will not have any effect in removing the cause of your sadness. So never allow others to make you feel inferior, and your happiness is going to lie in your own hands. So take control of your life, take charge of your happiness, and be happy all the times. Whatever is bothering you, throw it aside and be positive, be optimistic, and make your day beautiful. Avoid being self pity. The next thing is do something new. See, there is the thrill of learning something new, isn't it? For example, we may have different hobbies. See, I may have a different hobby, you may have a different hobby. Now, I would have had a thought in my mind that I want to do this. Let us say I want to learn music for a long period of time, but I've not given it a try due to my lack of time and tight schedules. Now, at a point of time when this feeling inside me says that no, you have to start learning it now, then I have to give it a consideration and look out for some measures to start learning music. So start doing something new that will change your mind and that will build your self confidence. When you have the ability or the zeal to learn new things, you will be able to gain self confidence automatically in you. So learning new sport or developing a new hobby, reading a new book, learning a new language, anything will energize yourself. So it creates a sense of excitement inside you, and it will give you the feel of accomplishing something. So do something that you have been longing for, which you have been planning for a long time, but you were not able to execute it. Throw it down right now. Start doing it and you will feel better. Last point is fake it, which means even if you're scared outside, then still you have to be, you know, confident. You have to exhibit your confidence to people who are in the surrounding. So if you're scared inside, if you're anxious, if you're nervous, if you sweat inside, not a problem. Fake it till you make it. Make yourself look confident in the outside and build your confidence inside too. So, act confident, look confident, even if you are not so confident in the inside. If you're scared in the inside, don't show your anxiety, don't show your nervousness to the people who are in your surrounding, don't show your weakness. So walk with a good posture, walk with a bright smile, shake your hands tightly, so that will make you to feel confident in the yourself, in your abilities inside yourself. And you will start analyzing that whatever I feel is whatever I exhibit. So you will start knowing what to exhibit over a period of time. So be more concerned about how you display, how you exhibit yourself in the surrounding and to others. So your character is what you really are, and your reputation is going to be what you think about yourself and how you make others to think about yourself. So these are the different ways to build self-esteem and self-confidence. So with this, we come to the end of today's session, and I hope you all enjoyed going through the slides and listening to whatever I've told you. So start building your self-esteem and self-confidence, and I hope you are all will stay safe, stay blessed, take care, and stay connected. We will be coming out with new videos soon. So, thank you for listening patiently. Take care. Bye bye.